welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, here to share some fun, some entertainment, some joy, some inspiration. I know what I want to offer, and you will receive whatever you receive. But let's start with my gratitude. Please allow yourself to receive some gratitude from me. Thank you sincerely, all of you who have already stopped in, engaged with the chat, shown your support sincerely. Thank you. It really is appreciated. And to all of you who may tune in at a later time, and I believe once again we've got this going on YouTube, on Rumble, on Facebook. So sincerely, thank you to everyone who swings in this way. Today the topic, having fun with the thumbnail, right? The message I want to share though is some ideas about health. Really, the ideas of health have been real important in my mind over the past, recent past. Maybe it's because I've been putting off growing in my own health. I've been making excuses for my exercise patterns and even allowing my diet to kind of, get lazy. A little more processed food and less fresh and organic, life-bringing nutrients. Health has been on my mind in many different ways. And the more I've been learning, though, it really is pretty simple and obvious the way we're supposed to live as people. I mean, hello. Did you know that you can get stronger through exercise? I mean, it seems like I knew that somewhere along the way, but did you know that you can get stronger through exercise, right? For your muscles and for your brain. You can exercise your brain. You can exercise your emotions. You can exercise anything you want. You've got the freedom to exercise you however you choose. So the idea, as I was thinking that through, though, the simple and obvious fact, did you know that you can get stronger through exercise? So if you find a weakness within yourself, you can exercise and grow through that weakness or overcome it. Did you know that you can gain health simply through better thoughts? You ever thought about that? I really hadn't, but it makes sense if you think the thoughts through. If you think the thoughts through, right? Can you gain better health simply through better thoughts? Well, what would better thoughts lead to? Well, better thoughts would lead to better choices. Better choices would lead to better actions. You know, if we have more healthy thoughts, then we're not so filled with shame and regret. When you're joyful, things don't bother you as much, but you're also more inclined to do what is right. To do what is right for you, for your future, and for those around you. That's why it's important to feel good about being you. There's a lot of factors in this world that can prevent us from feeling good about ourselves. There's all sorts of opinions and comparisons that can be imagined and created, but if you can't enjoy being you, you've lost your way. You've allowed yourself to become confused. Now, don't take that wrong. I mean, of course, there's periods of time where it's tough. Sometimes it's like, are you kidding me? What is going on? You just want to throw your hands up and crawl under the blanket, put your head under the pillows. But most of the time, life is not filled with pain. Life is actually filled with abundance and opportunity and joy and freedom. when you set yourself free, free from your worry, free from your anxiety, free from your depression, free from your past, those things are all available. Those things are all actually natural. We've been taught to carry around the past. We've been taught the many fears that we carry and we share. Because if you look at a child and if you look at a child, they are fearless. They're curious and they don't know. They're just willing to explore and to try. I'll go pet a tiger because the kitty looks pretty, right? Kids are dumb. So are we. We only think we've learned stuff, but we only think we figured stuff out because thoughts have come through our heads. But here's back to what I was saying. Growing your health through purifying your thoughts. If I was reminded by a oh yeah, discussion by Shunya Murti from the Sat Yoga Institute on YouTube. His discussion on some of the ideas of creation from the one into the different aspects of being, starting with the divine perfection into the truth and the beauty, and then the competition and imbalance between truth and beauty turns into distortion. What I took away from that from I know my explanation may not have made much sense, but what I've taken away from many of my past experiences, my observations, what I'm learning from all these different teachers and stuff, life is subtle. It's very, very minute. It's in the molecular, the atomic level. It's energetic. Life is layers and layers and layers of variables and systems and causes and effects, and everything works together somehow in a perfect balance that appears out of balance. There's an order that's consistently folding and unfolding itself in the energetic space of time, and we're a part of that. We're a part of the folding and unfolding of nature and life. We're just here in the form at this physical time from our combined perspectives. See, all of humanity, we've become so confused. We think we're so divided, so different, so separated. We think the stuff that's happening around the world isn't affecting us, but it is, because we are all one time at this space here in history on Earth. And I didn't look into it, but I see there's a lot of fear porn going up. Apparently, Iran sending aggression to Israel. Lord knows Israel's been sending aggression and dealing aggression, and the U.S. has picked sides in this as well. Brothers and sisters, I wore this shirt. It's one of my favorite shirts from an organization called World Beyond War. World Beyond War is one of the links that's in my description every day, along with Veterans for Peace and I think Code Pink. These are all organizations that care about ending wars. I invite you all to join me, us, right? I think if we really recognize the truth, this is true. The first casualty of war is truth. The rest are mostly civilians. Do you see the news? Do you see the body counts that are being reported about the civilians and the children being dealt with by the Israeli state organization and the imperialism of America? Praise God. I do pray that God's judgment comes upon this world very soon, that the truth becomes realized and known. See, I was thinking about this earlier. I had an amazing conversation earlier today. I got it. Yeah, had an amazing conversation today with, well, I didn't finish this video. Oops, what am I doing? Yes, that's what I did. Had a great conversation with this young man from Thoughts on Thinking. It is a wonderful YouTube channel. I'm totally switching topics, right? Went from the government atrocities and the criminal acts of war into my real life exchange of this morning and today and promoting. I dropped the link for those who can receive it. This is Thoughts on Thinking. And the video is when I started this morning. I just haven't finished watching it. Why did I bring him up? Why did I bring him up? We were discussing some things earlier today regarding, well, thoughts on thinking, regarding discipline, self discipline, and goals and overcoming things. How did I get from the wars to him? Anyway, you know what? I like it. I like promoting people, and he came through my mind. So please check out uh, the young man, Thoughts on Thinking. He offers some very intellectual observations on thought and life. So, stopping wars. Oh, yeah. First casualty of war is the truth. The rest are mostly civilians. We can become a stronger voice together. We can get the attention of people who have not wanted to listen yet. Holy cows. I did drop the link. It's pinned at the top of the chat for the YouTube. And for those who may wish to join, you're welcome to join today. Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. I'm feeling inspired and fulfilled already. So I invite conversations. The reason I bring this up is I would love some conversations about this topic, this idea. Personally, I'm dealing with this as well. There was another union meeting today here. For those who know my story, my past involves my experience and dedication with a local union. And today was a meeting. Now, those people could help me achieve a lot of things, but they don't want to speak to me. They'd rather avoid me. So here's the question that I'd like others to consider. How do you communicate with people who think they don't want to listen to you? You ever had that? You want to resolve a disagreement and someone's just like, no, not going to listen. Won't even talk to you. You ever dealt with that? In a way, that's what the corporations and the governments have been doing with all this bureaucracy nonsense. Create these levels and levels of hierarchy and bureaucracy where everyone thinks they're so self-important and they're protecting the bosses. Well, I got some issues with the way this nation's being led. And so rightfully, as a man who lives here in America, paid my taxes all my life, participated in the military service, and did everything I thought was right for the collective. If I got a problem with how this organization's being led, what's the process? Right? How do we get to the bosses and figure out what's going on here? Because this stuff doesn't make sense. The bosses. Well, the people making the decisions, the legislators, the ones interpreting the rules and creating the rules for everybody. Maybe this is where that thought came from. The other gentleman. I envision a future. See, I see a lot of good, incredible people starting out trying to build and grow, and many people are building and growing, getting a lot of rewards in this lifetime. I see a lot of corrupted people of very well, you know, a lot of resources, a lot of wealth, people who are clearly corrupted in their hearts and their minds. Bill Gates comes to mind, many, many, many others do too. But here's the point. I see a future, and this is where I want to plant these seeds of thought. Because the future we think about, the thoughts we think are going to lead us into that future. The thoughts we focus on, right, where our attention goes and we spend our time focusing, that that subject of attention becomes a part of us. We actually consume that which is receiving our attention. It becomes a part of us, and we give part of ourselves to that thing. The reason I bring this up, it's important what we think about. To tie these things together, you can grow in your health simply by cleaning up your thoughts, noticing and actually paying attention, cleansing your time of which thoughts receive your attention. I'd like you to consider this thought of a future world, a world where this world rewards those who share the wisdom, those who share the solutions. The world rewards the people who share. So, well, who share wisdom particularly. I mean, the past history of mankind is full of all of these amazing, incredible teachers, messengers, including Jesus. Right there's the perfect example. History is he the casualty. The truth had become a casualty before Jesus had been born. Right? There was wars amongst mankind, and oppression and evil had taken force. Mankind has a history, unfortunately, of ignoring brilliant, incredible men and women in their time. Right? As I've heard, Tesla died alone and broke pretty much. He and many others. Not to mention the activists and the labor organizers of the American past who are just slaughtered by corporate greed. Workers and organizers here in America, beyond the years of you know, selling human beings into slavery, well beyond that. We had men and women in this nation being murdered and taken out for corporate greed to oppress the working class. I've been a working man, working class my whole life. I'd like to explore something different. That's why I tried changing my life too. But I have a feeling the future that we all want to reward those who share wisdom freely, because wisdom is how we grow. And unfortunately, what we've allowed is not wisdom. The people who actually keep the wisdom for themselves, the executives and the officials, the bureaucrats, the legislators, they keep information for themselves behind this paywall, right? Their employees, obligated by oath, right? Controlled by some sort of contract. Fucking people, man. People need to wake up. You know what? Help wake people up. Help wake people up to the truth. This life is for us. Our God is for the living. Our God is for the living. We've got a heavenly Father and a divine Mother who we can know throughout every moment of the day. If you pay attention to the beauty and the wisdom, wisdom isn't always spoken. Wisdom is often just demonstrated. It's just shown. Look at nature. The wisdom of nature is so powerful. And if you listen to the silence and you pay attention, it's strong. It's loud, the strength and wisdom of nature. And I see that as the glory of God. The, in the delicate flowers, the petals of the flower, in the just tiniest sense and the distinctions of of everything, of flavors, of sounds, of colors. It's life. We are here to live. We are here to live in love. Holy cows. I'm curious what you heard as blasphemous. So quickly, people are willing to judge and condemn. It's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And Tommy is welcome. He's included in the image today. I tagged him in as an invitation. This YouTube self bang to the head. Holy cows, man. Your confusion is not helpful. It really is not. Well, listen to this. You have an expectation of obedience. Now, there is a difference between obedience, obeying, and abiding. There is a difference. And I see you offered that word, but look at your patterns of attempting to control. You expect obedience. And the egoic nature, the egoic patterns expect obedience. And I expect, you know what? That's the satanic way. The satanic way expects obedience because it expects control. And that's how this world, we were born into a world where people have literally sold their freedoms for paychecks. We have voluntarily cooperated and enabled with corrupt corporations, corrupt governments, and corrupt banking systems. We voluntarily agreed to all of this criminality that men and women are still dying to spread and protect. I'm talking about our military men and women. They're still being paid a paycheck as employees to go around, be in danger, and, be threatening to other nations. It's been a lie. If we want peace, right, which is what my goal is, my underlying goal is to share the peace that I feel, the peace that I know. I'd love this peace that I know to be shared with others throughout this world. And I know there's a lot of others today. Everything is layers and layers, right? Everything is layers and layers of similarities and distinctions. There's subtleties. I have a depth of peace that I feel, and I know there's others who have deeper peace than I know. They have greater abundance, greater love, greater success, greater fulfillment. There's much others who are much greater than me. But the peace I feel, the peace I know compared to those I see in the news, the peace I know, the peace I feel compared to the life I used to live. I want to share this peace and confidence, wholeness, this vibrancy and a feeling of life that you can literally feel flowing through you. You can feel life when you bring your mind into you and you clear your mind of the mind clutter and you clear your heart of the heart clutter and you clear the clutter away from what is not blissful and joyful and peaceful and true, it becomes simple and it becomes delightful. And we have our first guest, and it is an honor. Welcome, my friend and brother, Illumitami.
We are neither of those things, and I only had to come up here because, as usual, you've got a bunch of feels, lead wrenches in your chat, as if your chat is just so large that you need people to Nazi caught, if you will. Especially
Well,
that Joe fucking Moore that tried to say that we cool and he's apologized for all the things he ever said until he just went back to doing that shit. And find me in life, Joe Moore. See if I'm the last person you ever see.
hmm.
Now, Jack, how many? I mean, do you think one of the worst ways to tumble into the abyss of hell would be if God corrected your brain long enough for you to watch months and months of you looping this Antichrist fallacy and then claiming you're on that team? I don't give a fuck what you're holding. I don't even watch your camera half the time. And as far as putting me and Paul in your AI thumbnail, number one, we all know that tagging people is not necessarily going to reach them in the first 48 hours they're even tagged. Number two, I'm not subscribed to either of you, and you both keep putting me
What's
in
up,
your
Jack? Hey,
thumbnail.
was that the tree of life that you were showing
So you're
us?
just gonna drop Moose in on here? Is he gonna call you a faggot? Is he gonna give your channel away to somebody else again? Because you
Huh.
knew what was coming, and that's what you do, like your daddy. You see what's coming, and you drop people in to protect you.
Actually,
Nobody can protect you from sitting on YouTube and saying death
You know, you
to the
paint a
to
really
the
weird
Jew land.
narrative. I just walked in the room, he opened the door. Like,
Oh, is every day the first day for Moose too? Are you Talcotting? Moose, you're a piece of shit. That's why nobody comes to your channel. That's why your channel is just restreaming people that probably don't like you anyway.
Tom, you may not have seen the comment I had up, but one of the chats was asking, what was this hanging from my neck? I showed it. Little, it's a handcrafted silver piece from a man
When did you
in
buy that? What did you buy that with?
what?
When did you buy it? What did you buy it with?
I
excuse me?
I bought it a few years
Will you get this
ago.
little faggot out of here?
I bought it a few years ago for the exchange of
Will
the
you get
identity.
your imposter faggot out of here?
I'd prefer not to, but is that the only way you can control yourself? Apparently so. I guess it was an either or.
I'm sorry.
Fascinating.
I'm sorry. I'll leave so you can come back. I'll be back.
Well, Tommy may not be back. I don't know. Well, you're welcome. I don't care, man. um I appreciate. Hey, blessings and peace. And you know what? Blessings and peace. Thank you, Virgil, from across the waters. And I agree. At least Tommy wasn't yelling. Tommy and I, there's a connection. There's a kindred spirit between us, but I know that I trigger people. And I've been trying to become more gentle so that I don't get so much aggression coming back at me. OD, welcome, brother. Hey, I think I dropped the link over there. If you can see it, you are welcome to join. Today, I'm just kind of chilling out and hanging out for a little bit on Saturday, enjoying the freedom of the weekend, the joy of the afternoon, and exploring what the universe brings forth, right? My hope and intention, as I said at the beginning of the stream, is to offer some encouragement, some inspiration, maybe some entertainment, a little break from the day, and a little good vibes, and really plant some seeds of thought. The ideas that your health and happiness can easily grow. If you believe that, if you believe your health and happiness can easily grow, and happiness, I don't mean the temporary distraction of happiness, right? Good cards at the blackjack table, or, a second look from the stripper, or whatever. I'm not talking about those little moments of happiness. I'm talking about becoming a greater version of you. If you can believe a greater version of you can be easily achieved simply through a little better focus, a little bit of clarity, a little bit of mindful attention, and actually selecting the thoughts that move you and that you allow to linger around. Hey, here is another brilliant mind and a friend to this panel. Welcome back, OT.
Hey, how's it going, Jack? I've been wondering about you lately, right? I haven't been on the internet much, and I've been busy doing other things. But often we meet people seemingly randomly that end up being on our minds for one reason or another, right? And when you think about it, everybody's dealing with memories of someone, right? So that in the present, they're often not even interacting with the person. They're going based on their feelings of, if it's not the first interaction, it might be the last interaction, or it might be some other interaction that's not properly dealt with. So then we get to opinion, right? And feel free to interject anytime, right? Then we get to opinions, right? And then they'll opine their opinions about you that may or may not be fact, while they're looking to grow and change, and while you're changing, because living is changing every second, every day. But people want other people to be stable, right? So they don't want you to change. They want to change and grow and expand so they can moan and bitch about you not being up to their elevated level, and they can leave you behind and cut what doesn't serve them. So that now their feelings can be recompartmentalized into a way that gives them comfort, so that they don't have to go out into a big bad world to do things that they don't like, that's going to hurt them, that they're later going to need pain suppression for, which is always best to have if you're comfortable with a person in your personal preferences of how they look and feel and smell and taste, so that you feel good all the time, so that you're inured to the pains and traumas of the world as it seeks to, kill us, right? Life is continual death until we actually do, while we hope to live as long as possible, and then forever with the person that we found that best suits those attributes, as we're, as death can separate us at any given moment. So I don't know. I like your idea to be cheerful. Like it's the best thing to do. Think of the most positive attribute you can think of for someone else and for a circumstance, and then try and do that. The world will become a lot easier if people work together, tell the truth, and actually pay attention to what the other person is doing and feeling and how they're interpreting the world. So I'm glad there's people like you and that I've met them.
Hey, me as well. And what you started out with, that was the observation I made as well, is even when we do meet with people in the present, so often it's like people are trapped in their mind and their memory and the thoughts they had that they didn't get a chance to share when the last time or since the last time. And
yeah.
And then those opinions come out and they think the opinions are so important.
Yeah, like they think they're fact and that they're set in stone, they're unalterable. And it's like, look, just ask a question or just, look at me with a quizzical look. I'll explain to you the information you lack. I don't want to be a walking trigger like Jack is just by being himself. But some people are blessed. That's the gift that they have. They have the gift of intelligence and the knowledge that just being themselves pisses off everybody in whatever room they walk into. Right? But it really is a gift, because it puts you in a very important circumstance as someone that is now exposing deluded narcissists in their activities. right? Like if they can't come to terms with a guy like you or me, then they're really looking for problems. Like they're going out of their way to find something wrong. Like if you can't just chill with me and answer the questions as I ask them honestly, then you're already planning some kind of shenanigans by lying to me. So let's be honest. Let's have the intent only to be to pay attention and to see what Jack brings forth today, right? You know what I mean? It'll change, right?
Amen. Hey, we've
You
got
know
Tom.
who I am. Stop. Don't with the. He just watched me leave. Stop, Jack.
I
This
was
is
just
two
saying,
Jack. You are two Jacks in the wild. This guy's a wide-eyed fucking idiot.
I
Handle
watched
the
you leave from
OTW.
where? This is my
And
first experience with you. Quite a nice introduction, though. It'll be memorable.
This is why you're two. This is why you're two Jacks in the wild. You're trying to run your middle school guidance counselor bullshit on me, and you look like you managed to stay the cleanest of the homeless guys in your area.
Yeah, you know what? But this is the point. Like, if you can't see a guy that looks like me and Jack and look at them in the street while you walk out of a Starbucks with your Mocha Grande. Hey, I'm talking now. Hang on a sec. With your Mocha Grande Frappuccino and step over a Bichon Frise poodle with a friggin' $80 haircut and make nice with some housewife on pharmaceutical medication about to park the car in the garage when she gets home and leave it running while you fucking play nice with this suicidal woman and step over a bum in the street that, hey, maybe that guy figured it out, that everybody's a fucking asshole waiting to end up in the street looking for mercy.
This is narcissistic. This is another narcissistic.
How may I help you? Who are you? Can you introduce yourself?
He doesn't want to stay on point. He just wants to collude and frog. You're all the same. You're two Jacks in the wild.
Pardon?
Tommy, I was speaking over you, so just a moment.
Are you guys pretending you don't understand the panel verse you're taking part in?
No, Tom, you don't understand where you are. You think
you don't understand. I've had months. I'm nobody, Jack, and I've had months of going to panels going, oh, I know Tommy.
But Tom, what I was wanting you to consider is you've lost sight of where you are. This is not the other panels. Okay? This is a place where we can actually have conversations. And OT, Illumitami is a friend. He doesn't like to accept that, but he is a friend of mine. And he's okay, OT left.
Where'd you bring me back up for? Oh, wait, is this a place we can have conversations? Couldn't you hear me? Couldn't you hear me in the back, Paul? Mr. Laporta, could you hear me in the back? Can you hear me in the back?
I was trying to speak. That's why I put
you were telling me who Illumitami was?
Yes.
As if you don't know. And I'm not.
Dude, why would I say who the fuck are you if I knew who the fuck you were? It makes no sense. Just tell me and get it over with. Enough with the mystery.
What he's referring to is he had left this. He had come up on the panel and left the stream right before you joined.
Oh, yeah. So I didn't see it. I only saw that you saying that you're a trigger, and then you said, oh, I sent a link if you want to come on. So in the intervening time, I was there.
Jack's not a trigger, but close. No, I'm saying I've seen you come up on this panel before. Like not just today.
So you're stalking me. Is that what you're saying?
No, I seem to love this train wreck of a show where they say death to Israel and that Christ means effeminate being and all this antichrist BS. I'm actually. I would be remiss to my God if I didn't say something.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like if you said you knew me, why are you telling me stuff like that? Like, do you honestly think that I subscribe that Christ is effeminate or that the chosen people weren't chosen by God?
No, you're taking it down another path. I'm just saying I know you because you're just another Jack, and you guys are subpar fallen slaves, and you're all sociopaths.
Jack is unique. How can I be another
No,
Jack?
he's
I can live a
1 in a
billion
1.
years
He's
and
a
not come
million in a
close to
million.
being another Jack.
No, Jack is a million in a million. He's everywhere, just like his daddy Paul, and just like your wide-eyed self at a coffee shop somewhere, I imagine.
Tom.
Jack likes to go out and talk to strangers that can't walk away as fast as they can hit that leave button as well.
All right. You said
Run your
that we
game
were
on me, bro.
you said
Run
that
your
we
game
were
on me.
doing middle school psychology. Are you aware that since a
I didn't say
teenager,
that.
I've had psychologists taking me, like industrial psychologists, bringing me on factory tours looking for my advice? Like, and now you're just saying I'm a middle school
I'd say
psychologist,
no.
like a middle school guidance counselor. Like,
No.
are you
just
on
gonna talk over me,
drugs?
Paul?
Are you on drugs, Tommy?
Oh, he played that card, didn't he?
Well,
You're a fucking narcissist sociopath because
Hold on,
you
no,
want to
no. Okay,
gaslight me.
all right.
You want to
If you're not on
publicly.
drugs,
It's my turn, Santa. It's
if you're
fucking
not
my
on
turn.
drugs, it's cool,
You want
Santa,
to
to you.
gaslight me
It's
on the
cool,
interwebs as
Santa,
a
to you,
crazy
Tommy.
drug addict.
Address me with respect. If you're going to call me Santa, it's cool Santa with a K, and it's trademarked. All right? So say what you're going to say now.
Cracker ass nigger.
Say what you're going to say.
Here, guys, pause.
Okay. All right, David the Gnome.
Pause for just a moment, please.
Yes, I respect the Trek donos. He gives me more than you.
Yeah. Lizard Tree, thank you
Rightfully.
sincerely. Your continued support.
How much is your membership?
I don't know.
Oh, what you? No, that's a lie. That's a damn lie. How much is your membership?
I think it goes from
No. How much specifically? I'm not asking you what happened with your son, Jack. How much is your membership?
Hey, and thank you again, Lizard Tree, and Emily. Welcome. I appreciate it. God bless. Hey, the contributions, those are appreciated. But there was a message with one of these, and we included you. So, Moose, you need to be better, and I swear Jack is so patient with you. Thank you for noticing that.
See, now Tarek owes me money. I didn't see pulled this shit about Tommy is doing so much better. I'm not better. I've always been better than Jack and this Santa gnome, and I'm not out misspeaking the word of the one true God.
No, you're being a false
witness. What is the word of God then,
Oh,
Tommy? Let's just get straight to the chase. What's the word of God?
KJV.
What's the word of God, Tommy? Tommy, what's the word of God?
No, you're not going to flip this. I'm still waiting.
What's the word of God? You brought it up. I never bring God up. You brought it up. What's the word of God, Mr. Expert?
That's because I was talking to Jack. Santa,
what's the word of God? You're on a public show talking publicly.
On your end of this tag.
Please pause for just a moment. There's more going on. We got someone else in the back, and I'd like to explore what is going on, but the camera has me a little concerned. Roman, you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
I hear you too. Okay. Yeah.
Well, please go ahead. All I see is a black camera, and so I wasn't sure who you are or what's going on.
No, I see too a black camera, but wait, camera.
I'll tell you what I see. I see that quote that you had, Jack. That was a good quote.
Thank you.
I didn't have time to write it down, but it was a good quote.
Hello, guys.
Hey, welcome, Roman.
Hello.
Have you been here before?
Yeah, but it's almost half a year, I think, that I've been on your panel. Yeah. Do you remember me? I don't think so. Do you remember me?
It's been a while, and honestly, I don't. So,
you know, I'm the guy who talked about Simpsons and, you know.
Oh, Simpsons oil?
Yeah, and that God speaks through our bodies.
Okay. Well, bless you. Welcome back. Appreciate you joining.
Sure.
You you joined up. We've got some strong personalities going here. OT
No,
is
just
a
one.
strong personality. Tommy he does not stop.
Tom is great.
Tommy
Thank you,
is
sir.
great. Hey,
You could only thank me more if you just flashed up a BBC and shut this whole thing down.
No, see, Tom.
You've already AI'd my face with your daddy on it. That Cynthia didn't tell you that'll get you taken down.
Tom.
Paul says if you're against policy, we need to report this stuff. I'm reporting it. I don't want my face.
Are you a
next to him
stool
on the phone.
pigeon on top of being a half-ass Tommy? Like, holy fuck, dude. Say something
now you're
credible
convict
that's
history.
going to be of
Now
value
you're
to
con-
somebody for once in your life. So
I
far,
am
you're a
value.
steady stream of regurgitative nonsense that you copied off the internet. You haven't had an
That's you.
original thought yet.
That's you.
I'm just stating the obvious. Like, you know,
No,
you seem
back
to
it
be
up.
so
Let's see them
you
upholstery.
seem to be so quick
Show
on
me that
calling out people
upholstery.
as they are, and you're making mistakes. I'm hitting the nail on the head, and you never answer a question. What a coincidence
so you're
that
one of
is.
these. Oh, I get it. You're that new style of coming on, and no matter what happens, you're going to tell us you're winning.
Winning what? I don't play with losers playing with themselves. Like, what am I winning exactly?
Right. Tell me
I'm
how
having
you
a
can't.
conversation with my friend Jack.
Hey, Mr. Overtalker, tell me how you can't copy and
What's going
paste
on?
that little hand job bid on anybody you talk to.
Did you
You little
just
dick
interrupt
faggot.
me and then call me an overtalker? Holy
No,
fuck,
I
you
haven't had a
gaslighting
chance to respond.
narcissist.
You say
You're a
I never
gaslighting
answer a question. You
narcissist.
haven't shut your Jack Talcott mouth.
You're
Oh,
a
look, he is a
gaslighting
JG.
narcissist with nothing to say, Tommy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would have said it.
You know, OT, I appreciate you. You know, you don't know Tommy, but you got a quick assessment and understood pretty quickly of what he seems to be about. So
You can only measure people by what comes out of their mouth, and usually what comes out of their mouth first is the most important.
well, OT, this is what I've realized. My path, you kind of touched on it, and I think there is some truth to it. It's allegedly my cross to bear, whatever it is, right? We all have our own challenges, but people like to show me their egoic confusion. They love to bring me their doubts and their disbelief and their disagreements, and they entertain themselves all day with that crap, man.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen some of these panels? Seriously, people go 12 hours gossiping and complaining and just nonsense. It's like, what in the hell is this?
Yeah.
But check. What is left without the ego? You know.
What's
Hey,
left with our what?
What's left
without
the ego?
Yeah.
Spirit. The spirit of who we are, the spirit of life is here
Yeah.
for us without the ego.
But here's the thing. The spirit. There's a Holy Spirit that's a capital S spirit. That's part of the Godhead. Okay. Our spirit, when it departs, we're stiff as a board and dead as a doornail. Okay. So what comes out of our mouth that keeps us alive is also the spirit of our heart. And if Tommy's coming on spewing forth vitriolic diatribe upon no introduction out of the gate, I'm guessing that we met for a reason. Seeing that I'm the therapist of therapists, why don't you tell me what I can help you with today, Tommy?
He's gone.
Did he go? Well, maybe he'll come back on. I don't know.
Well, he does his own streams. If you have interest in talking to him, I'd encourage you. I'd even share you the link later if I see it. But
Jack, now if I'm paying attention to Tommy after him not showing any respect or ability to comprehend what's being laid down in order to alchemize it into love and his benefit, then Why would I invest any more time paying interest? Because I'm not going to get paid back in anything. But I don't hang out with people just to get paid in interest. I just kind of see what they're up to, and then we'll go from there. I know my heart. I know my heart. If I want to fuck you over, you'll never know until it's done. And if I wanna see what you're about without interfering, I can do that too. It never comes out with guys already having lurked me or already having opinions about me without ever giving an introduction or asking a question first. That's the wrong spirit. That's already on the wrong track. You're never going to get to the right answer starting that way. That's all I want to say to Tommy. I mean, I'm sure he's going to meet other people in his life after this.
Hey, you said something that keyed in on a thought I've been playing with earlier, right? The connection between appreciation and loyalty. And what you offered, right? After this experience, why would you go and give more of your valuable time and attention to someone like that when there'd be no return? And you can safely assume there's no return when someone shows you no appreciation. Why on earth would you give them loyalty? I get
Correct. Now, here's the other issue. What are the odds that two jacknuts end up with Tommy trying to help him? Right?
Jack, can I say something?
Sure.
You know, I know you about a year or something. You know, I watch you every day. I know Tommy as well. He didn't know me. I know, but I want to know what. I don't think that Tommy has bad intentions, but I didn't understand what he wants to say. You know, because we are all in this conspiracy field. You know.
But we're conspiring right now to do the right thing and to help people out. Like, we're conspiring right now. We didn't say we're going to conspire. We just started to conspire, right?
But, you know, every one of us has a unique information, you know, and I think going against each other, it's the wrong way. But I know because people going against each other, and what do we do from there, you know?
Who wants you to go against each other? What spirit is in people that makes people go against the spirit of other people? Is that God's spirit that does that, or is that some other spirit, perhaps? What's that?
Yeah, it's the opposite spirit.
Right. So, Jack, what you were saying before when you were pondering out loud quizzically, like, do you see these people sometimes on these lives, on these panels, and what they do and how they do it? Well, they're getting Agent Smithed. Some idea, some mood, some memory, some feeling, some misinterpretation of outside indentations of sensations to their perception is causing them to express outwardly. Now, very few people in normal society, the average being the best of the worst of everyone put together and equalized. So average people won't be able to handle Tommy for more than a couple of seconds, right? So then that'll be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Nobody understands me, especially when I'm calling them fuckheads on introduction. Nobody understands me. I'm just so far ahead of everybody else. No one's ever going to fucking get to my level. What level are you at? You haven't even begun to look up yet because you're looking down on everyone. And when you're looking down on everyone, you're really looking down on yourself. And when you're looking down on yourself, if you're made in the image of God, now you're looking down on God. What are you establishing, Tommy? You need to look up. Up is one direction. That's where God is, as supreme at the top, as the creator of all of existence.
Hey, let me jump in here. Not just looking up. It's the idea of expanding our perspective. The ego, the antichrist that wants to disrupt and limit and oppose and falsely accuse, it corrupts us. To get out of that corruption, we've got to get out of the limits of our own mind. Our own mind creates a prison. And if you want to understand the world better, place yourself, your mind's eye, in a perspective outside of yourself. See the world differently.
Jack, do you think that the ego is, of course, it is opposed to God, and it thinks it is his own God. I
What
don't
do you
need
mean
God.
by ego, Roman? When you say ego, what do you mean by ego?
No, everything what is, I don't need God. I am my own God. My
Well, that
intellect is
sounds
my
like
God.
pride. That doesn't sound like ego. That sounds like pride.
Yeah, but when I think every human knows that there is a God, but when we deny that, we are in our ego and we are our own God.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's pride. That's the sin that Lucifer, the highest, most beautiful angel in heaven, that was in charge of the heavenly host, choir, everything, all the other angels, for God, he wanted to be above the Most High. He lifted himself up in pride, and God hates pride because all the other sins then spill out from pride. Ego
I don't
is
think that God
psychoanalytic
hates.
theory. Theories aren't fact. The fact is all these guys like Carl Gustav Jung and Sigmund Freud and Piaget and Maslow and Erickson and all these guys, they weren't loved as children. So they sought to seek out psychology in the mind and what motivates people to understand why they weren't loved for just themselves. They got overbearing mothers, expectant and distant fathers. They come up with all these theories and the world gobbles them up because none seek after God. Each has turned to his own way. And all we like sheep have gone astray, and we're going to get sheared. Like, this is the problem when you are in these delusions.
We all, I include myself with Sigmund Freud and all the psychologists and
you sound like I imagine he spoke.
Yeah, but I tried to read all the great philosophers, and mostly I don't understand them. I understand something, but all the things they said and wrote about, it's very, I don't know, it's not for common man. It's you must read it over and over to understand, but it's individual perspective.
Here, I want to get to Tarek. Welcome, brother. The idea of ego, though, I want to come back to that topic. All right, Tarek, welcome, my friend. How you doing today?
Hey, Jack. Well, good, great. How are you?
Feeling blessed, brother. Did you have stuff to jump in with, or can we continue?
I was watching OT. I think that's his name, OT.
Yes.
I think he has a lot of knowledge. Okay, and I would say that he said before on your platform that I think he does take a lot of what do you call it? Mushrooms. Is that true?
Me? No, I've never had a mushroom other than in a salad or an omelet.
Okay. No, the reason why I'm saying that is and Tommy's not always 100% right, but he does have great points. Now, when you were arguing with him on different points, you pointed out, like he's on drugs or something. Wouldn't it be the same
if he was on drugs. I asked him if he was on drugs. I didn't state, allude, or assume it. I said, are you on drugs? My next question, if he would have shut up, would have been, if you're not on drugs, then are you retarded? Retarded can happen in a couple of ways. You can have lesions in your brain that is scar tissue that impede your thoughts, or you could not have the physical structures themselves. And if you don't have the structure, then you don't have the function. So if he's naturally inhibited and slow, i.e. retarded, like in a car ignition, you advance or you retard the timing. So if his timing is retarded, then that'll explain why he was 100% accurate in all the things that he mentioned and was wrong every time. I notice excellence. When someone is 100 out of 100, it draws my attention for various reasons. That's why I asked him if there was anything I could help him with.
Okay, let me ask you, let me reply real quick, because that would defeat what you're saying, because did you watch Tommy at all? Like, do you know him, like what he does and stuff?
No, I asked him. I said, who the fuck are you to come on here and say all this shit about me without an introduction?
Okay, but what I'm saying is, do you know his history and his knowledge, what he knows about the Bible and all that, or no?
Did you hear what I just said to you? If I had known him, would I have asked publicly for him to identify himself?
Okay, so my next question is, why would you presume that he's the moron or retarded?
What did I presume? I repeated back his own words to him. He was unable to answer them, therefore justifying me as being correct. Like, if he's making the mistakes, why are you defending him, one, and then also attacking me obliquely here? Because then you mentioned about his biblical or scriptural knowledge, whichever one. I didn't identify with him. I doubt it's the scriptures. I would have recognized if he was alluding to them. So whatever his biblical knowledge is, I then asked him, since he admitted that he'd watched me on occasion more than once, if I was the kind of guy to shirk from answering questions about God, the Bible, Jesus, the Spirit, or anything like that. Like, it happened fast, and depending on which way you like the sound of someone or the look of someone, or have invested your own time in someone else's theories that they copied from someone else that you copy from them. So now you invest your sense of worth or identity partially with Tommy, and then oppose the newcomer who's dropping neutron bombs, not just of knowledge and information, of wisdom. Like, I'm zipping it up here every which way from Sunday, and I'm asking the guy if he's even intelligent on top of it, and intelligence is a gift from God anyway. You think I'm going to the mind gym doing sets on being smarter?
Please.
I'll yield. Jack, go ahead. Take over.
Yield? No, you got shut down. You're not yielding at all. You got shut down.
No, I did not get shut down. Let me tell you why I'm yielding. Because we had the same problem last time. You won't shut the fuck up when let somebody speak. That's your problem. I'm not saying you're not smart. I'm not saying you don't have wisdom.
I didn't ask you if you said I'm smart. I don't need corroboration from you on my intelligence based on what you've said and the way you've presented it. Like, it would be dumb of me to take a compliment from you about my intelligence at this point, based on our discussion right now, these last 5 minutes.
Please take a breath, please. I do enjoy your energy and your intellect. You're sharp. You're very sharp, and you pay attention. Tarek was yielding to give it over to me. That's what I saw him doing. All right.
Okay. Exactly. Yes, that's what I was doing. Thank you, Jack.
Yeah. And
that's wise of him then, Jack. He just illustrated some wisdom then by doing that. My mistake. I apologize. Tarek, you're not completely oblivious to what's going on.
Tarek,
I'm a moron.
He pays attention as well.
You're a what?
I said I'm a moron. I get it. No problem.
Yeah. Hey, listen, everybody is. Like, you don't even begin to get to think about being smart till you realize how dumb you actually are. That's when smart starts.
Well, this is where I wanted to bring it back and politely point out that Tarek did offer an accurate observation. You've got a way of just taking over the conversation, dude. And admittedly, in past experiences, I did deal with a little frustration with that. Okay? So please be aware.
Is it possible that people are confusing me with other people who do that because they have nothing better to present, so that they overtalk people? When do I overtalk somebody that didn't interrupt me first?
It's happened with, well, I don't know. because
Well, in conversation, I don't mind when anyone interrupts during a regular. I mean, you do it, we do it. We never have a problem. Other people are more sensitive lately. This was never an issue with anyone. People used to be able to talk.
This is actually what I've been trying to promote on this channel, is how to improve our communications with each other. One of the truest things I've learned for myself too, and here, let's turn this into a teaching moment, not just with each other, but our own internal conflicts. When we've got these disagreements and anxious feelings within ourselves, you'll hear the voices and you'll feel the tension, but consciously slow down the speech. If you consciously slow down the speech, you're going to interrupt the patterns of anxiousness and combat. And as you slow down the speech within yourself, slowing down the thoughts, it'll bring a different energy within. And if we can practice slowing down as we communicate with each other, paying attention, when is the energy getting up? The energy's getting up and combative. How can we slow it down? And then the other part, slow typically brings a gentleness. So a gentle slowness, we can peacefully discuss things from the past, which is where you started at, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can peacefully discuss things from the past and unresolved issues if we just stay present, right?
Yeah, but here's the importance of presence. When does presence happen? When can you be present? Can you be present tomorrow? Were you present a minute ago? Maybe you were present, maybe you weren't. Maybe you were off daydreaming. I don't know, right? So presence can only happen in the gift of now, right? So the past, these are reconstructed memories.
Mm-hmm.
Like even for me to reconstruct a second ago, I'll need 80 milliseconds to replay it and reconsolidate it to remember it. So the past isn't even in the now. Like you can't even bring it here, because even the now we have that 80 millisecond delay, right? So the now's not even really happening in the now. That's on a bit of a time delay, right? But the reason that the past is important is that the information contained there and how you reconfigure the past memories and information, whether you were interpreting it correctly or not, you may need to ask for further information from people that were involved in the past during that thing that you have questions about. So that's difficult because you don't always have access to that. That introduces a variable of analytics of the unknown. That spills off into fear and suspicion and jumping the gun at people and giving accusations, right? That's why I was a little bit flabbergasted when I met Tommy for the first time. I'm like, okay, what just happened here, right?
Hold on, please. Yes, it can take off like that.
Yeah.
Tarek, were you getting in there, Tarek?
No, I was just saying, what he's saying, that's your belief, correct, OT?
My belief about how the brain operates? No, this is documented and tested.
I think that's pretty objective.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's objective, right?
I believe.
Okay. Okay.
Like you need objectivity for truth and authenticity, right?
Well, here, let me bring this, because you were just talking about how the memories work and how there is actually a delay between the instance of now and our recognition of now. There is a delay. So we are, no matter how much we try, as the data from science appears, we do consistently live behind the present, but
behind the times that everybody thinks is an illusion of a construct now.
Well, but let's bring this back to the earlier topic of the ego, because I think when Roman was using the term ego, it was in context of in response to my use. And what
but I was going to ask you too. He just brought it up, so yeah.
For the ego, the definition I've found that I like the best is the ego is the body of beliefs.
The body
Right.
of beliefs. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's the activity of thought that becomes our ego, the structures of beliefs.
Oh, so it's your identity is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
I
so your ego is your identity. So when people get offended about their identity, they get lifted up in pride and defended,
Yep.
right?
And the pride is where I identify pride and fear and all of that. It only exists in our minds. It's a belief. And so that is the ego in what I say. So where if you see pride or arrogance or insecurity, that is a symptom of ego that I see.
But insecurity, wouldn't that be a measure of intelligence?
Sure. Yes, but it's also here, get this. Worry and insecurity is actually a sign of arrogance, where we've placed our judgment of, we're future tripping most times. We're future tripping, believing we know the answer beyond all doubt. And then we cause ourselves to be nervous and anxious
And
worried
fearful.
about it.
Yeah.
It's arrogant. Like we know the future. Why are we wasting our energy worrying today when we don't know what's going to happen?
We don't have the promise of tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah, so now we're going to worry and fret about what's going to happen 5, 10, 20 years from now when you don't know if you're going to wake up.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I've been realizing.
But the past and like I say, reconfiguring that information is only a benefit and is there. We have memories to do this. So we take that in the present, right? We reconfigure the past so that we can avoid making those mistakes in the future, so that we can now have more time to love other people and to do things properly because we've learned from the past, right? That's now the mistakes are adding to your knowledge, information, sensations, intelligence, and wisdom. You increase your intelligence, you increase your enlightenment, you increase your everything every time you do good, every time you do right, every time you love, because love is the ultimate right. It's the ultimate truth. It's the ultimate good, right? That's why it's the ultimate healing.
Yes. OT, please. Thank you. This brings us right back into the topic of the video. The observation that you can grow your health in your life simply through purifying your thoughts, taking those thoughts captive, interrogating them. Is this my thought? Is this a thought I want for me and my future? Because every thought goes into our being and becomes part of our memory, whether it's our thought or someone else's belief. If we accept those and we give meaning to those thoughts, they become part of us. So purify it. Go ahead, man.
Well, I was going to say about Roman before when he was talking about people, and he said something along the lines of they were trying to get to know you, or you're trying to get to know them. But my question was, if they don't know themselves, then where are you going? But then I was going to ask Roman if he knows himself. Like, do you know yourself, Roman? Do you know why you do what you do, when you do it?
Well, I recognize good and evil.
You recognize what?
Good and evil.
Good and evil. Okay, yeah. And do you always do the good?
Of course not.
Yeah. I mean, and this is the thing, right?
What is good? What is good? Goodness.
Goodness is something that's true, and something that's true is level. Something that's level is on the level, and when you have a level, you can take a plumb line so you can know what's square. once you know what square is, you can then divide up all the other angles so that you can look at it from every angle, right? To measure it by degrees. So anything good, it has to do with the usage and collection of all of the right things to construct the right things, which are usually built on a stable foundation, right? They have deep roots. They withstand storms. They're not easily destroyed, and they take a while to construct. And you have to be diligent when you construct them. Otherwise, you're going to whip together a house built on the sand that's going to be swept away in the next windstorm or rainstorm, right? Like you don't have a foundation, right? So people now, they're under the, Jack said something about 10 minutes ago about the importance of getting to something, but it was what triggered in my mind was the importance of knowing the words and the words we speak and the power and the information that's contained in each word. Not only the information and power that's contained in each word, in the order of it. And because the order, if you flip it, it's opposite effects, right? And then if it's punctuated incorrectly, or if it's not capitalized correctly, you won't know that the capital goes on top of the pillar, right? You can't have the capital on the bottom. So there's hierarchies as well, right? And hierarchies of ranks for order.
OT, we want to simplify this.
Yeah.
We don't want to overcomplicate it.
Well, people need to know what their words mean.
Yes,
like what
absolutely.
they really mean,
okay.
and mean them when they say them, and then keep them. Because a man without his word is nothing. You can't trust the guy.
Here, let's tie this in together. The words and the vocabulary we allow ourselves is critical. The words and the vocabulary we allow ourselves to use creates the experience that we know. So purifying our thoughts means what OT was saying. Become accurate with your words, become honest and true with your words. No one can prove your words true beyond you. So if you say you're going to do something, you better damn well do it. And if you don't do it, you better follow through and make sure that you accept responsibility for not being true. We've got a world where there's billionaires and there's corruption all around, right? Because we've created a society where people do what they want to do until they're proven wrong, right? So we don't have people admitting they're wrong. They go around hiding that they're wrong until someone else is smarter than them and calls them out and goes through the persecution and presentation. But guys, if we want to be honest, all we got to do is humble ourselves to the truth and become loyal to the truth. But it requires knowing the order. Sorry, bringing it back to what you were saying, OT. It comes down to
but develop it. Like I say, when you were saying before about a teaching moment, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm a natural born teacher. I'm just not very good at it because I'm efficient at identifying the problem and then drawing attention to it to make it uncomfortable, so that either you have to rise to the occasion and correct it, to correct me where I'm wrong, or to prove yourself honest, you have to rise to that level that everybody knows is the right thing to do, right? So now when you always tell the truth, if you do it continually all the time, you're going to end up hated.
Yes.
Like that's how Jesus ended up, right? No place to lay his head or to call home. And they all cried out for his blood. His mom was there. Mary Magdalene was there. His brothers and sisters were there. All the guys who hated him were there.
Wait, OT, This is just what I'm saying. You're absolutely right. And I'm evidence of this. I started committing myself to the truth, and everyone around me started hating me, dude.
Yes,
So,
exactly. Yeah,
but,
listen, I mean, I knew it. Like, I knew it.
but that's the ways of the past. And the ways of the past, the people who spoke the truth, they were persecuted. But I believe we are here. We are experiencing a shift in consciousness where we have the opportunity in this lifetime to unite and to bring forth some change in the new ways, bring in the new world together. And
Yeah. And while you were talking, I wanted to write down something. Truth is unity.
yes, that is how the truth, yes. Go
And
ahead.
love is the truth.
Yes, beyond the words. Love is the unity, and then truth creates the definitions of the unity that's actually there. But for love to be, the truth must already, the truth is the utmost. And so
Right.
is
It's the
love.
top. It's the pinnacle.
Yes.
God is true.
God is true. The truth is God. God is the truth. The way to know the truth is through the Lord of love. That's what the example
And
of
God is
Jesus
love.
was. Yes.
Right? He's
yes.
the Lord.
Yes.
And people are allergic to him. Right?
The guilty.
That's the problem with the world. They know Hadaway's song, What is Love or whatever, right?
OT.
And they think love is crazy. Love is the thing that's going to stabilize you the most and heal you and put you in the most clarity of mind for all things right and wrong, good and evil in a second. That's what love does. I'm not talking Hollywood love. Anything you see on a lens or a camera anywhere has been altered because the unit itself, when it's in front of the camera, is altering itself. Okay? Me included, as you can see right now. I'm illustrating the fact. So nothing we see through a camera or a screen can even be real because it's already being tampered and altered, right? That's why you said before about only you can know the truth, right? Now, the truth is singular. This is what people need to understand, and the truth will find you out. And you can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. Like, that's what it's going to come down to. Like, the truth wins because it is the truth. Like, it's not making mistakes. The truth cannot do that. That's why God, the creator, is the truth. That's why he's love. That's why he's light. That's why he's the word. That's why he's Father Time in the beginning, the start of time, literally in words. Let there be light.
OT, amen. It's the all in all. And
Yes, the all in all. God in Christ, in us, reconciling the world unto himself.
It's a
as
beautiful love. It's a beautiful love story that we are participating in, yet through the ignorance of society, our choice, we allowed our corruptions and confusion. But hey, what you were saying, the obvious truth, what you're offering is what I've concluded myself as well. The connections of God, truth, love, no separation, and it goes on from there. But what keeps people away from love or the truth or God? Guilt and shame.
Lies.
Yep. Corruption.
Embarrassment.
Shame. Yep.
No guilt and no shame. That's the problem. Right?
Pride and arrogance.
Yeah. Like, see, what people don't understand the importance of lies. And one lie, and everybody dies when you do the analytics out to the end.
Yep. Lies corrupt.
Right. How do people die unless someone's embarrassed? Nobody can die unless somebody's embarrassed somewhere.
I don't know that.
Why would you kill somebody unless you were embarrassed?
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So yeah, it's like, oh, did you hear how he talked to me or whatever? Did you hear what so-and-so said? No, listen, if you lie, all that means is you're not man enough to go up to some dude and kill him and take his stuff that you want. That's why you resort to lying. You hope down the road someone else is going to take care of business so the blood's not on your hands. No, you're just as guilty, Macbeth. You're just as guilty. If you want to be king, you got to kill all the other kings that subdue everybody. And then watch out, everybody, starting with your own family, doesn't kill you to become the next king or queen. No, you don't want to be the king. There's one King of Kings and Lord of Lords. The rest are just subjects, subject to living in his time-space continuum made out of his microns of dust that are really just pixels, little picks of L, God. That's what we are, God dust, and we make ourselves smarter than God.
Yep. We think we do. We think we do. And it's amazing how foolish, right? When we allow our arrogance and our egos to take over, and then those emotions take over, our anger, and dude, we look like such fools. We present as just absolute clowns when we start running around with our emotions driving us and all the fear and anger. The unfortunate, sorry, go ahead.
No, Jack, no, that reminds me of, do you know Jesse Lee Peterson?
Who?
He's Jesse Lee Peterson. He's a streamer and pastor. And he says that all thoughts are all lies all the times.
All thoughts are all lies all the time?
Yeah.
When he said that, was he thinking that? Like he's lying to himself then if he's saying that, right?
Well,
no, logically, that's exactly the arithmetic he just said. Don't believe me because I'm a liar.
Well, the other side of that is
you can't know the truth. I'll lie to you. You can't know the truth.
Actually, that is a lie that people have accepted. That partial truths, right? Partial truths keep us confused. And
well, partial truths are lies. Let's just call them what they are. There's no such thing as a partial truth or your truth or my truth. Truth is singular.
All right. OTC, thank you. I don't mean to keep this conversation just you and I don't mean to leave Tarek and Roman out, but this, did you say you have experience in psychotherapy and such?
Yeah, my degree is in that.
Well, okay. So as someone who's educated, and you certainly have the knowledge, the wisdom of this consciousness stuff and the power of the truth compared to the power of lies, there's got to be a way we can communicate this to the people who are leading the governments and corporations. That's what I think we can do. We can lead. I see a future. I don't know if you've heard this from me, but I see a future world where America, through the structures we've got today, America could start the reform and start leading the rest of the world into the new age, which I believe was what we were intended to do, but we lost our way and we allowed secrets and lies to get us confused. And next thing you know, we got a bunch of billionaires growing out of the population and more people fighting for more control. And, the poverty rates are growing, the homelessness are rising. We've got famine outside of our borders all around and inside the, a world of truth. A world of truth is waiting for us once we overcome the corruption.
Jack, I'll ask you and everybody else. What's the world most famished for?
Love, compassion, care. Those are the things I see. Well, as those are lost as a result of a lack of respect for the truth. Humility. That's what the world is lacking, humility.
See, the world confuses
Yeah, I would-
meekness with weakness
Yes.
or mildness. They say, oh, this guy's meek. Moses was meek. Look, Moses killed a dude in anger, man, for mistreating a slave. Like, the guy was not meek and mild, okay? Moses, right? So the guy basically is like third ranking in all of Egypt, right? The most powerful kingdom in the world at the time. Moses was obedient. Meekness is obedience. People aren't meek. They're not obedient. They don't listen. If I say to my kids, like, if I'm like, let's say we're out someplace and, you know, the world's a nutty place like this. If I'm like, get down. And they're like, Dad, like, what do you mean? We're out in a bar. If they don't obey me, maybe I saw the shooter walking in. Maybe I saw the car without brakes. I don't know. Maybe I saw hot coffee being spilled off a plate. What if they don't listen to me to say, when I say get down, there could be some collateral damage there, man. You know, so meekness is obedience, and then humility. I don't know what humility. What's humility? What would humility be? Humility,
Okay,
humbleness. What's humility?
okay, can I ask you something?
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe the Bible is true?
Do I believe what?
The Bible is true?
The Bible is true.
Yeah.
I believe the Holy Scriptures are true.
What do you mean by that?
The whole, like, the Bible, that word's not in the Bible. The Bible is the Holy Scriptures. The Holy Scriptures are the Word of God. They were written down by men. The men were the instruments of God. They were channeling the messages from divine places in higher realms and unseen worlds to decode, to tell the people. They were the ones in the wilderness naked for years, grounding and fasting and being fed by wild animals and things like that. Everybody thought they're crazy. Nobody wanted prophets there. Every prophet in the Holy Scriptures died at the altar, basically, except Jesus. They took him outside, whatever, right? Like, you don't want to be prophetic because people die. Like, you don't want to forecast the future because you see what's going to happen. You know, it's a lot better if everybody keeps in their own lane, pays attention to their own business, and doesn't assume things that they haven't checked. They need to verify these things, but they themselves need to know where they're getting their ideas from. So nobody has really had an original idea, because any invention throughout history is always just a copy of something that a man sees a bird or a fish or an insect do, or some other living organism, right? And they just copy it and then make stuff, right? So we can refine ideas and assemble them, but it's not like we're having lots and lots of original ideas on our own. So you want to have the best ideas by people who've checked and measured these things first. Like, that's an easy way to do it. But
there's another part to that I was considering earlier today. The fact that we discover these new things, these new ideas, they may not be new, but they are new to us. And sometimes those new ideas to us are also new to our local echo chamber.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of little echo chambers all around this world. And this might be off topic, but this thought I had written down, and I do want to bring out and think about, discuss. The observation that the fear of suffering creates our inaction, right? Inaction is going to come from a fear of suffering. So then if you think that thought through, I suggest that what we're experiencing today with the Joe Biden nonsense as a U.S. president and these billionaire class with the poverty class, the inaction of good people results in the world of today.
Right. Well,
Good people have been
See-
afraid of suffering, and they've made the excuse of inaction. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say to Roman, like, so you asked me if I believe the Bible and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yes, I do. Right. And can I use an example from it, Jack, or does it make your audience nervous or skittish? Or, well, what you just said now, the inaction of people lets these other people do their thing. That's exactly the story of the Good Samaritan, right? When Jesus said, okay, this guy got robbed, beaten, laying in the street. And here comes these Sadducees and Pharisees. They cross the street, pretend they don't see him, right? Like he's a bum. And then here comes a Samaritan, like a half Jew. He's not even whatever. And he helps the guy out. He brings him to an inn and he leaves the guy there. He said, look, here's some money for the stuff I used here. Here's some money for lodgings. I got to go do some business. On my way back, if this guy has charged any more to the account, I owe you more, I'll settle up with you then. These religious guys avoided this guy because he was bleeding. Now, when you're a Kohen, when you're a Sadducee, when you're a Pharisee, when you're a religious priest of God, you can't go in there all bloody unless it's you got to sacrifice the animals. Then that's a different type of butchery and medicine, right? Doctoring, sacrifice. Who's the last sacrifice? Jesus Christ. Oh, okay, vegans. How come you're not worshiping him or saying, hey, he was supposed to stop all the bacon double cheeseburgers, but you guys didn't listen? No. Anyway, that's a side note. So, but it's the inaction of these guys because they wanted to go perform their religious duties that Jesus said in the seat of religion. He said, ye den of vipers, ye lay heavy burdens on the people that ye yourselves will not lift so much as one finger to do. You guys. He exposed them. Then he went out and cast out the money changers, right? The banks, the corporations, right? Dude, he did this in front of everybody. They all had the temple police. They had, if you're a money changer, you got your own armed guards. You got the Romans out there patrolling. You got the king and his police. You got all the cops, everybody there for the high holidays. This guy's tossing tables of money, chasing these pukes out for conducting business, calling all the religious guys vipers. Jesus is saying there's no religion. Love God first with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, all your strength, and love thy neighbor as thyself. And this is the whole of the law. In these two, love is the whole of the law. Before that, he said to love your enemies. And then they conspired, it's written in the Holy Scriptures, to kill him. When he said to love your enemies, before he said to love, and love your neighbor made in the image of love, before you love yourself, that's also made in the image of love. And the world's famished for love. And they're looking for the Word. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us.
And yet we suffer due to our lack of
knowledge.
Our ignorance. We suffer due to our lack of knowledge.
My people perish for lack of knowledge.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. It's all true. That question of what do you think of the Bible? Hey, there is wisdom and depths of truth in that book.
Yeah.
It's,
Alan Watts, like I love listening to that guy for a variety of reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Although it pains me to watch him in black and white with a crew cut because of how friggin' geeky he looks then, right? It's like, fuck, dude. How you going to convince me you're Alan Watts and a cool cat later if you look like this fucking bozo now? But anyway, one time years ago, I heard him say, the Bible is... the Bible is true, or even if it's not true, it's still true. Something along those lines. And I thought he lost it. But he's exactly right. Like you're going to end up coming to the truth like this. He comes at it in a different way that people tend to resonate with and stuff like this. But these are the things in all religions or ideas or theories or cults that vibrate for a second to be true. The deception is a broken clock tells the right time twice a day. Whatever time it's broken, if you look at it at that time, it's right. If you look at it 12 hours later, it's right. The rest of the time, it's wrong. So now, why are you going to go with deficient cults, religions, and science, falsely so-called. Science done correctly is proving what God said. He said to prove all things and to hold fast that which is good. Like, don't let go. Real science is true religion, but the only begotten Son of God exposed it. He said, he told you what the church is. It's not a building or a corporation registered to another corporation, both of them banked by other corporations called the money changers that he exposed and died to do it.
Well, yes, he led the way. He showed us the way out of corruption and sin. And all we've got to do is today follow that way. Follow that way of love and allow the truth to lead us. What are we capable of doing? We're capable of resolving disagreements. We're capable of intermediating and helping bring peace to conflicts and fights. We can change this world as soon as we believe that we can. Because I've come to the belief, back to the Bible. The Bible was one of the last places I went in order to learn about God, because I didn't see the results from the people I saw who go into church. So
because we're proud and we were smart enough to see hypocrisy, but too dumb, because then we just threw it all out based on other people's opinions and our own puffery, puffed up, whatever, hollow man, hollow-headed ideas. No, everybody's gotten counterfeit money at some point that they cannot use afterwards, and they get burned. No one in the world ever said, that's it, I'm swore off money, I got counterfeit, that's it. They're all fucking hypocrites, every fucking dollar bill, pardon my French, so nobody ever does that. But with God, because it's a spiritual battle between good and evil, light and dark, right and wrong, right? We tilt this way. We believe the lies of the devil, and he's a liar and a murderer from the start. How did he do it? Asking you questions, getting you running your analytics wrong. That's what it is. He's putting the fear in your mind.
Yep. And
perfect love casteth out fear.
Yep. When we fill
perfect love comes from God. Sorry to interrupt.
No, I'm interrupting you, but just to reinforce what you're saying, yes, we can fill ourselves with love, the appreciation of God, the appreciation of our neighbors, our brothers and sisters. We can fill ourselves with the appreciation of ourselves, self-love. You fill yourself with love, these thoughts of fear, you won't even entertain them.
Right.
These thoughts of inadequacy, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's the old me. You just let that go.
Now that you say that, he got the answer to the question, to our question, I guess, and people like us. It's like when you love yourself and it casts out fear and you do stuff, to normal people it seems crazy and they're afraid of you and you trigger them. That's why if you tell the truth, you end up like hated, right? Like it's, but what are you going to do? It's like, it. Like once you get the truth, you're like, yeah, I'm going to die in front of the world. I get it. This is more important. This is more important. The legacy I leave with my words and my actions and my deeds and truth and heart aligning with the best ultimate thing. If I got to die for truth, fuck it. What are you going to do with me? I'm going to see God.
Yes. And where I'm at now, I have cleared my conscience of past guilt, past regret, past remorse, shame, all of that crap. I don't carry around hate, judgment, resentment, none of that stuff. So each day, I am so thrilled with the opportunity to live, but at the same time, I'm excited, actually. I want to go meet the maker. I want to go meet the maker of this creation.
Yeah.
So I spend time going within.
Well, no, but yeah, but if you go without and you're really properly paying attention to all of creation, you'll weep everywhere you look because you'll see perfection operating in real time and you experience it and you're overcome with joy because God has let you experience this and you have excitement
Yes.
to share this with people, right?
That's
And what ends up happening, because everything is energy, there starts this big exchange of positive and negative, of light and dark, and the battle for the middle ground and the boundary. If you're going to open your mind and push your boundaries, one thing understand first and foremost, you're not going to exceed God's, because God is the boundary that contains everything and is the substance of which everything is made out of. That's why everything is energy. That's why God is light. That's why we're made in the image of light. That's why Jesus said to let your light so shine before men, so that they may see your Father in heaven and glorify him.
amen.
Like,
Through us,
you can
through
only
our
give thanks to God. You can
Amen.
only lie to God. You get hurt in the process or blessed. It's up to you. You have free will. He doesn't tamper with free will. He made you in his image. You have the knowledge of right and wrong in you. The difference is the billionaires, they know they should, Bill Gates knows he should be providing clean water to Africans, okay, so that they can better kill each other, because Black Lives Matter so much, except other blacks in the neighboring village or in Compton in the street over where they're wearing a different colored do-rag, right? So it's like you got to say, hey, people, everything's energy, so that means there's no colors. We attribute the colors. And if there's any color to humans, it's the color of your palm. It's the color of your soul. The soul is the color of God. That contains all the colors. If you wanna scrap it out over different shades of brown, red, yellow, green, white, and cream, knock yourself out. We're like off-color coral, kind of pink salmon color. Inside, outside, palms and feet. You want to check? Let's call a gynecologist. Right? That's the color of people.
Okay, yes, people are people, man. We're fascinating creatures. We really are.
They are, yes. Yeah.
And the thing is, I used to hate people. I spent the majority of my life hating this life, hating this world, hating people in it. I didn't know them. I just fucking hated them. And it feels better to love.
Yes, it does.
The way of Christ, it is so... If I'm right in the practice that I have been living, this is how we are supposed to live. Constant embrace and appreciation of the present moment, right?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm going to ask you, I'm going to ask to everybody watching now and watching later, right? So imagine if you could have all the people that you ever met in one place at one time. Then imagine the first person that you check that they're there, right? Then imagine all the people that person loves there as well with them, so that they're the best they can be. Then imagine you have all the people that you love the best with you, and you're meeting there, and everything is open and shared and free, and everybody knows right from wrong because they know love the way God knows love, right? If that was happening here in our neighborhood, you could start surrounding yourself with people in the physical, by phone, by the internet, by letter, however you connect, and share love and right and truth and good and other perspectives and knowledge and resources. You're going to have less greed. You're going to have more ease of life, because it's easier, many hands make light work type thing. Dude, working with people you love is a piece of cake. You can do it day and night for as long as you want, or do all of it short and go do shit you love to do. This is how we're supposed to live. This is what happens when you love your enemy. If you love your enemy, maybe he'll realize you're not as big of a dick as you seem.
Yep.
Maybe he won't want your shit or to kill you, and you'll want to do the same, less of the same to him.
Right.
Then you become friends that love
Yep.
each other and share stuff and watch each other's stuff and unify in truth, right? Because truth is unity.
And
Then,
the world has less
then it's
enemies.
easy to love your other neighbors.
Absolutely.
But
And
if you
when-
don't know yourself, if you don't know your own ID, and that ID stands for your internal diameter, and you don't push those boundaries and you don't fill them with the right things, all you do is copycat ideas you hear in songs subliminally, on television commercials subliminally, in movies subliminally. I mean, they're overt about it now too, right? But I mean, we have a continual distraction of a cesspool of stuff that is inconsequential and is designed to consume our time, money, and substance. And our souls ultimately is what we end up sacrificing and paying with. So we end up living 80, 100 years, hollow, empty lives. God, why me? I want to live longer. You know, why? Why? You haven't done anything in 20, 30 years, and you hated the 40 before that, and you were a little prick as a kid. And now you're looking for your inner child before you die. You're beside yourself, man.
That's
You know,
that's the way of many people these days, unfortunately. But it's the story we were warned of. Corruption, right? Temptation has led mankind, all of humanity, through temptation. We've entered ourselves into these commercial agreements, right? Where everything is a commodity. You know, our time, our energy, our everything is a commodity to be bought and sold. Until we break out of that mindset, the buying and selling, we can focus on sharing, nurturing, growing, exchanging, right? Truly living with the values of love. And this comment, I love this comment. Health is a personal responsibility. Priority one. Without it, you truly have nothing. It's healthy to love. The results are healthy and benefits tremendous. Start with loving self and project in and out.
he's just telling me to stop smoking nicely. Thanks. I
hey,
love you too, nude guru.
Nude Guru is
I'm a
awesome.
nude guru too. I just don't do that many lives while I'm nude. So
I believe it.
the reluctant guru.
Here's another. Love is the ultimate selfish focus. It is healthy. It is the way. You are a self. Take full responsibility for this, or someone else will. These,
Yeah. I mean, think about it. We're the center of everything that happens to us, right?
Absolutely.
All light is coming at us that we see. Otherwise, we don't see it. It's darkness, right? So the world isn't as they tell us when you stop and check. Because if a galaxy is receding very far at super fast light years of speed, and that light is being emitted, and we're going the other way, how's it catching up to us for us to see it, right? So our perceptions aren't always reality.
Right. Correct.
And reality is changed based on the state that we're in, based on what goes into us. Everything that goes into us alters our thinking one way or another. Technically, everything is a drug.
Which
Air,
affects the perception.
right? Yeah, consumption, right? So air is a funny thing. If you double the amount of oxygen, we'll be healthier, smarter, have greater endurance and more physical capabilities, but will oxidize at a faster rate, right?
Okay.
Water, we need it for life, it's the universal solvent that's the ultimate cleanser, right? You're always going to rinse it off last with water. You're going to rinse off the soap, the degreaser, the fantastic, whatever. And it's so powerful of a solvent that water erodes mountains down into sand. And it's inside us. And we need it to live. If we have too much, we'll die. We can die of water intoxication. If we don't have enough, we die. Right? And then we have the sun, electromagnetic energy that curls the shingles on your roof, gives you vitamin D. You don't catch the particles. You manufacture them. It's triggered within you electromagnetically. But the sun pulverizes us to dust. It's working on the pyramids now. It's got a little bit longer to go. But ultimately, everything will be destroyed by the things that keep us alive. Life is to be consumed. The business of living is the consumption of other living things until other living things consume you to death.
It's
right.
Patterns of life. It's just change and growth and decay, and even decay is growth. So it's all about growth in life.
Yeah.
So,
there's cycles, and cycles that are repeated are frequencies.
hey, sorry, we are that.
Yeah.
Those cycles, those patterns, they're repeated on so many different ways, not just the days and the weeks, the months, the seasons, but the patterns of humanity. We're at a time right now, it's another transition period where technology is advanced, communication is advanced. I believe our world is ready for something new. And when I'm saying new, I'm not talking about what Klaus Schwab's and those other clowns are talking about, right? So
that can't be new. They've been working on it for hundreds and or thousands of years, right? So it's not even a new plan. They've been scheming for a while, these guys. You know, but they don't know love. Love, like real love, if these guys experienced it, that'll start shutting down the billionaires, man. Like themselves. Like it's happened. I've heard of a couple of guys like that. There was some super rich dude. He's out in the desert. Same thing happened to King Nebuchadnezzar. He thought he got the whole kingdom. He goes, with my own two hands, boom, he spun a bearing. 7 years out in the wilderness. What was he doing? He was licking dewdrops off the leaves of the grass and eating the grass. And his hair grew out like feathers and his fingernails grew out like claws. And after 7 years, he came back into his right mind and God restored the kingdom. He lived on longer. But here's the thing. It's like eagles, right? America's symbol. They get old. They can live to 70 years, right? But at 40 years, they're blind. Their beak is mangled and worn out. Their feathers are whatever. They can go to the wilderness and they can spend 150 days banging their beak on a stone till they knock it off and it regrows. Then they got to scratch their claws out. Then they got to yank out all their feathers. And then they regrow into a new bird to live again another 30 years.
Isn't that crazy?
Maybe that's why. That's why when Tommy was accurately pointing out that we look like derelicts laying in the street, right? Like the guy's right. I love it, right? I'm like, yeah, okay. So my mistake. He's 99 out of 100 being wrong. He hit that one right on nail on the head, right? That's right, bonus points. But you know what I mean? Like, but these are the things. People are watching us in a real live transition of this. They're going to see, are these bald-headed fucks going to like disintegrate and disappear? Or are they going to emerge like a fucking phoenix to give the message that the world needs during a time such as this? Because Jesus said, ye shall do greater things than I.
I think it's time.
Well,
I think the time
love is
now.
the only thing you can do greater than what Jesus did. Like he did it all when he was here. You missed it, but he still gives us an opportunity, as much of selfish, self-centered, vain pukes that we are, that are blind and morons, like Tarek said before. You know, We're no different than the enemy. Like, we're the enemy, right? Fear is fear of the unknown. Perfect love casteth out fear. That's why love is the answer. Like, I mean, and I'm not saying it just as a saying on a meme by some dude that's had too much acid that day, you know. Like, love is the answer, like literally. Like, I can give it to you neurochemically. You can synthesize this and test it on lab rats, and you'll see they'll heal, they'll live longer. You give them too much, they go crazy. You don't give them enough, they die. Like,
I allowed my mind to distract from where you were taking the conversation. I've been noticing the nonsense in the chat. Some of the people are just entertaining themselves with the chat, not really
oh,
paying.
like comment. I don't see the comments. I mean, I'm not being rude, so
no,
I apologize to
good.
people. I'm oblivious to them, right? Sometimes I'll
No,
see them when you draw attention
hey,
to them.
no, good for you. I've had these characters that just keep, well, the light attracts the confused, the darkness, and I've got these negative Nancy's who like to hang out in my chat and just, create distractions and disturbances. So,
Well, you're
people,
causing ripples. That's why. Otherwise, if you're innocuous, you wouldn't have this. You'd have everything. He, tee he. Oh, that's wonderful. And,
I know.
you're accomplishing nothing. You're just wasting time till it's your turn to get sheared, right?
Well, that's what they claim. They claim I'm doing nothing and wasting time, but it's actually them projecting themselves. And they're, like I said, people love to show me their ego confusion, their insecurities, their bitterness. And but you know what? Love is the way.
Yeah.
And it's what we're here to do. And honestly, OT, I don't know how it's going to happen. I know the power of belief. I know the power of prayer. I know the proper way of prayer and envisioning and becoming with faith. And I have faith that what is happening with me, this live without fear, I claim, based on the facts and evidence from my own life and the observations of the world, my own understanding of how the creative forces work, and the creator, the ultimate creator, controls the knowledge, right? I say, I present the possibility that this live without fear is actually a message from God for the world to understand, to better receive. I'm not the only one explaining these concepts, but my purpose is to share the truth of God's love through the world. I think that's what we're all here for.
Yeah. Well, live without fear. You know what you should do with that? Fear not.
Amen. Fear not.
Right?
And when you don't fear, you find peace. And when you find peace, there's gratitude. And gratitude is love. Peace is love. Love is when we're absent of fear.
Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Amen.
Right?
Thank you. Thank you. I've been reminding myself often, and I realize
I mean, you have to think who said that. It's Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's nailed to a cross at the time between two other guys. The two other guys are guilty. They're mocking him. One guy says, no, hang on a sec. We deserve to be here. This guy never did anything wrong. They spent a day and a half with his hands tied behind his back, beating him. He exposed all of these guys and all their rackets, powerful rackets, religion, banks, kings, government, armies, like military, cops, doctors, physician, heal thyself. He's healing people. He's burning them. These were all the religious guys that came out of their thing with their ointments and potions, the pharmacists and the pedophiles. He exposed everything in front of everyone his whole life. They had him a day and a half with illegally convened trials, beating him mercilessly. His face wasn't recognizable as a man. His visage, like he was hamburger meat on a stick. He says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. I thirst. What do they give him? They give him vinegar and gall out of a bucket on a spear and put it up to him. What were they cleaning up on death row? Right there in the gas chamber, in the execute where the guillotine goes. What were they cleaning up? Do you think these guys nailed next to them were the Son of God? Or do you think they were shitting their pants while they were getting nailed to the cross? Do you think they were bleeding out and puking and pissing and whizzing and everything? This is what they were cleaning up. This is what the perfect man that did nothing wrong, only ever loved and healed people do. That's asking God to forgive them, saying, I thirst. That's the best that humanity has. The dregs of all of these murderers deserving to die, and they're outsourcing emulsive miasma of puke and vitriol and disgusting juices they give to Jesus Christ.
Through that example in my studies, through the education I've received, through many different people, right? The spiritual teachers, the psychological explanations, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. Well, modern day explanation, the reality is people behave like they've learned. They don't behave different than they've not learned. And people have gotten accustomed because, well, trauma is enabled, lies are enabled, excuses are enabled. People are enabled with their egoic confusion.
Who lies to us first?
Ourselves.
No, we don't learn to talk till later. Our parents are lying to us.
Yeah, you're right.
Our government and doctors are lying to us in the birthing room, right?
Yep, absolutely.
The banks already, they're backing the government and the social insurance number, the birth certificate number, all capitals contract number, right? We're already lied to on day one. And then they start lying to us about the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, you know.
Yeah, they throw Jesus in at the same time as the Easter Bunny.
How old the girls' prophets are and when they marry them. Like, you know what I mean? So there's lies are everywhere, right? I mean, God even says in his book, all men are liars. I get instantaneously banned if I type that anywhere on Facebook. Instant, every time. All men are liars. Boom. It's like hate speech. Wait a minute, dude. Like, did you fall off the turnip truck yesterday and you missed that all men are liars? I didn't say all men are lying continually all the time and that the guys running Facebook are lying. I didn't say that. I just said what God said. You're not even arguing with me. When I quote God, you're arguing with God. God is saying all men are liars. So in that capacity, yes, we do lie to ourselves as well. And that's when we decide to do the wrong thing, when we know the right thing is pinging off in our brain. Don't do it. Don't do it. This is wrong. As kids, we start learning to suppress this. Who's teaching us? It's our parents. It's our brothers, sisters, schoolmates, teachers even.
We are the result of the environment we've experienced. And it all starts at home and with the youth, but we've lost sight of how children can be raised. So many parents, and I was guilty of this as well. So many parents, you know, so committed to the job, to the career, go dump the kid off with a stranger, you know, creating these detachment issues and really traumatizing the youth without intentionally doing so, without even realizing it.
Or, you know, as has happened to me, and I've also done, repeating the pattern and cycle, when you have something that you like to do, the kid likes to do, but you want him to do it perfect, so now you're too uptight and you ruin it for them. You know what I mean? And all they want to do is kind of hang out, play in the mud with their dad or whatever, right? It's like, fuck.
Well,
you know,
here's the reality of my situation. Unfortunately, I was a confused man when I raised my son, so I raised a confused young man. I would love to try and repair the damages, but, you know, to help restore the confusion. My son was raised without who I am today.
Hmm.
Son hasn't met me since I discovered God. I mean, truly, his mother and him separate. I mean, they left my life when I started turning to God. So,
Well, okay. So now, when you line up with the things that God says and does, and you've observed it, like I'm not saying you went to like seminary or Sunday school or read the Bible 10 hours a day to come to these things. You're like me, like, you know, you kind of haphazardly come across them, you become aware of them, then you notice the parallels, and the more you look, the more parallels you notice, and then you're like, okay, well, that thing that I felt in all along is kind of this, but I was assuming it was all religious and bad, but I was just watching all the same TV shows as everybody else, so I was already programmed, right? And the God of this world that blindeth the minds of men, that's the devil. So we're in the place that God gave him. He's expressed his goals to keep us separated from the divine source called God. That's his goal. He can't do anything against them. He already tried in his own house. He's going nowhere. He wants to hurt him by hurting us, by us hurting each other and ourselves. That's the fear. Right? That's why fear not. That's why perfect love casteth out fear. That's why love God first. You know, you can call it religious, but all you're doing is defaulting to your programming and being triggered, right? Like it's, you know, I'm objective enough to point that out to you. And it doesn't matter to me if you hate me the way I do it, because otherwise I'd have to apologize for being myself. And I'm not prepared to do that just yet, right? You know, especially with people who haven't tested it themselves, right? The knee-jerk reaction, oh, God is, the book, you know, God's book is just written by men. You're not understanding the instrument. It's like me saying the poems I write are written by the pen.
yep.
Technically, that's correct.
Right.
I'm the author of this.
Okay. Yes, OT, please. I'd like to be. Actually, I think I'm ready to wrap up, to be honest.
Okay, wrap it up. Yeah.
We're over a couple hours.
There's Nude Guru.
The memory is also a double-edged sword, double-edged sworded tool of practice. Get good at practicing, remembering to constantly practice humility instead of remembering to practice arrogance and stupidity. You'll get very good at either.
Yeah, I mean,
true.
Yeah.
Clarity in our purpose, clarity in our intentions, clarity in what we are doing. That's how we overcome our confusion, is through clarity. And clarity is only done through a peaceful mind.
This is what I wanted to put your mind at peace with before, when you mentioned about your son and you were concerned that he wouldn't know you as you are now and as you're growing to be. You're now basically, when you line up with God, a prophet. So you're prophetic. But what did Jesus say? No man is a prophet, save, right? Like except, right? To his own what? Nation, next of kin. The people who know you or me, they cannot receive us. They know us when we were snot-nosed and drunk or whatever, or destitute and angry, or just flat out bastards and fuckheads. You know what I mean? So if they know you as that, they can't expand their mind enough because they're going back to their data bank of, no, this is the guy. This is all it'll amount to. Otherwise, my ego was wrong. I'm better than this guy. Comparison is what, you know, if your son may get it once you're dead, which isn't ideal, but I think you would be just as happy if he did. You know, if you knew he would get it one day, you wouldn't be, you know, sad as often as you are. And God made the universe. You're already communicating with him. You know what he is. I think he can give you a chance at least to have your son know something somewhere, somehow. You know what I mean? So hang in there, dude. I love you.
I love you
Thanks
too.
for having me on again.
Hey, respect to you. I do
Yeah.
appreciate you
And no,
joining.
and even the people. I love when people are honest. I don't care if it makes me seem like I'm not nice. If I'm not nice and you notice and you can prove it, damn well fucking say it. Like, I respect that. I admire that. I need that. I crave that. I don't need an echo chamber of being wrong. I need an echo chamber of iron sharpening iron and correcting me as quickly as possible, because I don't have time to waste at my age and the way the world's going. So if I seem a little upset at people, I'm not, man. I don't like people enough to hate them. You know what I mean? So I love them in the sense that I want to find out who they are. It's like you said, they're fascinating, man. Like they're mind blowing. Yeah. All right, everybody, have a good weekend, and hopefully we'll all chat again.
Blessings. I'm going to toss
Thanks,
you the
Jack.
back. Thank you, brother. And yes, we will likely be back tomorrow. Sincerely, all who joined the panel, all who joined the chat today, who tuned in at any time, whether it was live or in my future, and you're catching this on the replay, thank you for tuning in. We covered a lot of topics today, and I hope some of the messages were received. OT has an abundance of wisdom, and I hope I didn't mean to ignore or disrespect the others who were on the panel. We kind of dominated the conversation today, but I hope you enjoyed it. Really, the idea is, my goal here, sincerely, truthfully, is not just for entertainment, but I do hope to encourage and inspire a little bit of thought within yourself. Replant some seeds. That's what I hope to do. I hope to plant some seeds of thought for you to nurture, or cast aside whatever you want. You get to live how you want. But the words of the Christ, okay, the power of truth, humbling yourself to the truth so that with a clear conscience and a confidence in the truth, in the facts that you know, you can build your confidence of self-love, feeling the love of God, the wisdom of you. No one else has your wisdom or your love. No one else has access to that wisdom and love that's within you besides you. So each moment of each day, in every interchange, every exchange with another human being, you get to choose. What are you going to share? Are you going to bring forth the love and the wisdom that is true and natural within you, or are you going to bring up your contempt, your resentment, your guilt, your shame, your fear, your what? Your bitterness? Brothers and sisters, the world has enough corruption, enough bitterness, enough negativity, enough oppression. We've got enough asshats in this world trying to control everybody. How about we just bring some peace? We focus on controlling ourselves. Self-control? Self-control is something no one else can offer. And self-control is found through humbly accepting the facts that you know, the truth that has been revealed to you. When you can humble yourself to the truth, align yourself to the truth, become true, no excuse, no blame, responsible for the truth, proudly with the truth, appreciating the truth, loving the truth, loyal to the truth, and sharing the truth that you know, so that it can be refined and corrected and improved through your lifetime. That's what we're here for. Brothers and sisters, I hope these words offer some sort of, thoughts for you to consider later. And worst case, tell you what, OT dropped a lot of wisdom. Worst case, go back and listen again. You might hear something new again, and I may do the same for myself. Anyway, brothers and sisters, sincerely, Those on YouTube joined in Rumble, joined on Facebook, please do the algorithm thing, the like thing, the follow, the subscribe, the share, do whatever you feel is right. The goal is to help this grow. We want to grow. We, being me and all who want to join me, we want to grow a better world, a better future for everyone, a world of peace, a world dominated by love, by righteous goodness, where the good men and women aren't held back from a fear of suffering, where good men and women take actions despite the risk of suffering that they may encounter. Why? Because this is our life to live. And what an adventure, what an opportunity to do good in this world that has so many opportunities for good to be done. Let's see what we can do. Until next time, brothers and sisters, sincerely, thank you again. Choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless us all. Thank you.